Hello everyone, welcome to the series of lectures on database systems. As previously we have been discussing on data definition language, so we continue. In this video we will talk about how to create the table and also how to alter or modify the existing table. So to create a new table in the database, create table command is used. So this is SQL command that is used to create a new table in the database. So the given general syntax of this create command is as follows. This is the highlighted query or the statement to create the table. So in the format we see that there are words which are highlighted in magenta color. So these are the keywords like create, table, default, check, primary key. These all are the create keywords in the SQL. So these are the predefined words. So let's just define or explain this statement. So create table is the command to create the table, and this table name, here you specify the name of the table that you want to create. Also there are columns in the table, so the column name is here. So here at the name of the column name, you can specify any name of the column you want to give, and then there is a data type. So this is the type of the column that you want to assign, and then there are some things in the brackets. So for example, this is an optional thing that you may want to assign or you may want to omit it. So this default is the keyword, and the default value you can assign. So like if a row is inserted and you have not provided any value for this column, then this default value will be used. Also you can have the domain constraint like the check class. So this check class ensures that only the values that you want to assign to this column are assigned and no other values assigned. And then there is a constraints. So we will discuss what this constraint means. Also note that there is a column name and there is also another column name too. So these are the two fields here. So if there are multiple entries for something, it means that there can be as many as columns you want. So in a table you can create as many columns as you want. So column 1, column 2, column 3 and more. So this is the definition of the column. And then we see next there is a clause for the primary key. So the primary key is the keyword, and in the parenthesis you specify the list of the columns that you want to be the part of the primary key. As we know, a single column can also be the primary key, and more than 2 columns can also be the part of the primary key. Note, however, that there is only one primary key class, so it means that there can only be one primary key within a table. Furthermore, there may be some other set of columns that you may want to be unique across the rows. So you want their value to be unique across all the rows. So these are actually the alternate keys. So you may specify that their values should be unique. So unique is the keyword to specify this, and then in the parenthesis you provide the list of columns. Note that there can be as many unique clauses as you want. So you can specify multiple entries for this one. So many columns or set of columns can be unique. And then we see there is a clause for the foreign key. So this foreign key is the keyword, and then the list of foreign key columns are specified in the parenthesis. So to create the foreign key, you specify the foreign key keyword, followed by the list of the columns that you want to be part of the foreign key. So as we know, a single column or multiple columns can be the foreign key. And then there is a references keyword, and this references keyword is used to specify the parent table name. So here you specify parent table name that you want to associate with. And then there is optional list of candidate key columns in the parent table. Inherently, if you omit this, then these same columns are assumed. And then you can specify the update and delete actions. As we discussed previously, what happens when a parent row in the parent table is deleted? So what happens to the rows that refer to the parent row? So what happens to the rows in the children table, or say in this table, when the parent table row is deleted? So here you specify on update, it is for the update, and then you specify the referential action, and then you can also specify on delete and then the referential action. So what it means by referential action, we will specify soon. Note, however, that there can be many foreign keys. So you see that there is a foreign key 1 and then the foreign key 2. So there can be many foreign keys in the table, hence there are multiple entries for the foreign key. So let's check what is used for the constraints for the column, and then what is means by the referential action. So for the constraints, there can be two things. The constraint can be not null, or it can be unique, or it can be both. So note, however, that for the column to be unique, it should also be not null. And for the referential action, there are 4 possible values. It's like cascade, set null, set default, and no action. So we have already talked about what is meant by these keywords. So after discussing the syntax of the create table, so let's actually create a table. So as an example, let's create a table named employee. So this is the command. Create table is the keyword, employee is the name of the table, and then there is a series of columns. So first column is employee ID, and we specify it as a fixed length character, and the length of the character is 4. And then there is the first name of the employee, and its data type is varchar, and its length is 100, and the column value should not be null. So it means its value cannot be null. There must be some valid value. Also, there is a last name. Its data type is varchar, length is 100, and the last name should also not be null. Next, we have the salary column, and this is the numeric value. So we have the numeric, and then we have the 7 as a precision and 2 as the scale. So we have already talked about what it means by precision and scale. So by the precision, it means there will be 7 significant digits in the number, and after decimal point there will be 2 digits. So we specify the default value for the salary, and this is 100. So it is 10,000, and after dot it is 20. So there is no value after the decimal point. So it is actually the fixed value 10,000. And here we also say that this column can also not be null. Finally, we have the gender column, and its data type is jar. Note that this is fixed length, and the length of the number of characters is not specified, so this is only 1 character. The default value that we want to set is M, and then there is a domain constraint which is specified by the check, and it ensures that the value for the gender should only be between two values. This is F and M. So apart from F and M, no other value can be assigned to this column. And finally, this column can also not be null, so there shouldn't be any not null value. Sorry, not null is actually not a value, so we can say there cannot be a null. And finally, we have a constraint. So constraint is the keyword, and then employee PK is the name that we want to assign to this constraint, and then the constraint actually is the primary key, and the column for the primary key is employee ID. So employee ID for this table has been selected as the primary key, so it will not be null and it will be unique automatically. Here I would like to say that it is actually the good practice to name your constraints, because whenever the constraint is violated, its name will be reported, and then you will know what is happening at the time of the inserting rows. So there is a description of all the things that will happen in the above statement. We have already discussed it. Also note that the primary key can be specified in two other ways also. One is the without constraint keyword. So you can actually specify the foreign primary key without using constraint keyword. And this is as the following. You just need to write the primary key and employee ID. However, note that if you do this, then the primary key constraint will be defined, except that the name of the primary key actually the name of the primary key will be decided and provided by the system itself. So the default name, whichever the system chooses, will be assigned. So the following query, this one selected, is the same as the above query. Just note that there is no constraint keyword and no name for the constraint for the primary key. Barely we just write primary key and the name of the column. The other way where the primary key can be specified is with column definition itself. So actually when defining the employee ID column, you can specify that it is actually the primary key column. Thus, the following command is the same as the above that we have write, and it actually creates the same table with the same constraints. Note, however, that the constraint for the primary key will have the default name which is provided by the system. So only subtle difference is here, like employee ID has been specified as the primary key. The syntax for separately specifying the primary key, like here, is that you can specify multiple columns as the primary key, which is actually not possible when using the primary key constraint with the column itself. Otherwise, if there is a single column, these all syntaxes mean the same thing. So you may also want to see how a table is created in Oracle database. Thank you for watching, and please keep watching.